It's time to celebrate another Belgian National Day, and man, do we have an amazing video for you. Welcome to the channel, everybody. I'm Belgian Jasper. If this is your first time on the channel, hit subscribe right now. Today is July 21st, which is the Belgian National Day. And to celebrate this special day, we've got something extremely special ready for you. Through a number of polls in the last few months, I have been asking people, what is your favorite Belgian band from the 80s? A lot of people voted on a lot of different bands, and in this video, we're going to share the top 10 Belgian bands of the 80s. All these bands are obviously winners, and let's kick it off with our first winning band at the number 10 spot. This is Scavenger.
It's not surprising to me that it is still popular because traditional heavy metal is still a big thing nowadays. There's like a two-generation thing going on. You have the old fans who perhaps saw Scavenger in the original lineup, know the bands, they saw the bands in the 80s, they lived through the 80s, but all those people also have kids and they have grown up, and perhaps their kids know the bands as well, and it keeps the scene alive like that.
But yes, still nowadays a lot of people get to know Scavenger, and even the Battlefield album is 35 years old, I think. Still a lot of people buy the CD or the vinyl. There has been a reference by Golden Core from the Battlefields album. We also did we also had some contact with all the original members. They support us all the time, and also Patrick Vanschooren, the other original guitarist, and Roger.
Roger Roscam.
Yeah.
Both the old and the new members all seem to be part of.
We're very close. Actually, tomorrow Luc is coming to my place, so for just having a drink and a nice talk. So it's cool that we have a very good relationship with all the members of the original lineup.
So we've seen a new single. We know that the band is working on new shows and maybe more. All the fans, what should they know? What can you share with us?
Well, we're working on a full album. Some weeks ago we did the drums. All I can say, it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be big sounds and a lot of 80s cheese.
Alright, let's move on to band number 9. This is Breathless. So Breathless is not around anymore today, but I did get a reaction from singer Marc Herremans. He writes, "I'm not really surprised to see the popularity of Breathless. I've learned the Belgian 80s metal scene has always remained very much alive. On a regular basis, I receive mails from all over the world, people asking me about Breathless and how much it meant to them. So yeah, I guess we must have done something right." If you are wondering what Pascal is up to these days, well, he's actually still performing quite a bit. If you want to check out one of his projects, you should totally check out Consonance, which features Bas Mas, the guitar player of n.w.o.b.h.m. Let's keep it going. At the number 8 spot, we've got Steelover.
like to say thank you very much for all the votes. The fans are still behind Steelover. I hurt my heart. It's very good. We did what we had in our heart, and I think at that time when we played, most of the people like it. They want to buy an album, then they grew up with it. I think now they're older and they put it back on and they're listening to it. I think that's maybe why. Good souvenirs, you know.
I didn't get to experience Steelover in the 80s as a band playing. I was too young for that. But in those days when you were, you know, with the band, I know this can be a difficult question, but is there one memory for you that stands out that you will never forget?
I think at that time the best thing for me that happened to me is to play at Foreign National with Kiss and Bon Jovi to open up the show. This is memorized for my life. When we went to the stage on Foreign National, there was no more space to put our drums on the stage. Johnny moved their own drum and put ours, you know. It's amazing. That's professional, you know. We can't forget that. It's a hit for me.
Now, you know, Vince is back as the singer, and a proper reunion comeback is being worked on.
Yeah.
What can you share with all the people watching this video? What's coming our way? What should we expect?
We've already wrote some songs, and some are practically finished. We hope to finish the LP for the end of the year, January, probably. Maybe you can make a gift for Christmas at that time, or Happy New Year. You don't know. On the album, there are going to be some songs from Glove Me and some very new songs, or half 5 and 5. It's kind of half 10 piece of song together. It's going to be very, very good.
The countdown continues with number 7. We have White Heat.
It's quite amazing. It strikes our ego. But on the other hand, I think Stan had lots of requests over the years while he was gigging with other bands on, you know, what's the score with White Heat. And then we also picked up through social media that there was to our surprise, even a bigger interest than expected. You know, that seems that we even have a cult following. So, you know, hey, it's amazing after all these years.
You know, people asking you all these questions about White Heat, I'm sure a lot of memories came back to you. Is there one specific memory that really stands out for you?
We had several great things that happened to us. First of all, we had a great gig playing with Ted Nugent in Forst National in 1981. That was the start of our success, and afterwards we got a record deal, Mausoleum Records and so on.
I mean, you know, that whole vibe when you hear the masses of 7,000 people and the lights go out. I mean, you know, it gives you the shivers. It still does today. You know, it's an amazing gig. You feel the audience, you know what I mean? The lights go out, and then, you know, that sheer power, it really just grabs you by your throat. And everything else you've got. So I was super nervous. I remember that one. I was shaking all over.
What's going on now? What are you guys working on? When can we expect it?
We're currently working on new songs. I'm not going to tell much about it, but we are.
It's going to be a blast.
Yeah,
I can tell you that.
We have songs enough, and by the end of the year we'll have a new CD. Whether it's out already, we don't know, but the songs will be there. No problem.
The best is yet to come.
Yeah.
You know? So, hey.
Keep cool, girl. Keep cool, girl. Keep cool, girl. Come to me. Keep cool, girl.
We are almost halfway our countdown of the top 10 Belgian bands of the 80s. At the number 6 spot, we've got Lion's Pride.
What kept it alive is we have 2 cool videos, and it was recorded in '85 on the Shockwave festivals in Belgium. So we are back together, we reunite back together in 2012 on the Metal Legacy Festival, and we were asked to headline the festival. and it was a big success. We didn't play for a long time together, for more than 30 years. So I was also very surprised that we sounded better than back in the old days.
There are things moving in the Lions Pride camp. What should the fans keep their eyes open for? What are you guys working on?
We did a release only a few weeks ago. We did a single release, and it's also we had some very good reactions on the single release. So we are also planning to release a second single somewhere in August. So we have to plan the release date yet. So, and we have also new songs. We are working on new songs, and we hopefully can release it on the end of this year.
All right, we are diving into the top 5, and first we've got Crossfire. Crossfire is one of the most legendary speed metal bands, not just in Belgium, but in the world, really. They released a couple of amazing albums. My favorite is their second album, the aptly called Second Attack. Right now, a reunion definitely doesn't seem to be in the cards, but hey, who knows what happens in the future. It's time for the amazing Acid.
Acid clearly still very popular because you guys made the number 4 spot, which is pretty amazing. Are you surprised to see that how popular the band still is after all this time?
Well, I'm still a bit surprised because it's been so long. It was so long ago that we were on stage, and I thought that they'd forgotten all about us, but they didn't. So that's good news.
I think I've seen some time ago somebody made a little comic book about Acid.
I got it from a French guy. I think he's living now in America somewhere, and I lost him. And very strange, I found him back via, and now I had contact with him, and I asked him if I could re-release it on the Facebook page, because it's very good.
You are now working on Kate's Acid, a comeback and shows. What can you share with everybody watching this video? What are you working on?
We are working on new gigs. It will be ChewingRock, Keep It True, Germany, and we have also one in Belgium, and that will be in Hell. And this, we're working on a video, a sort of lockdown video. Maybe we will make an EP, but that's not sure yet, with some old stuff and a few new songs.
All right.
But we are still working on that.
Alright, before we go into our top 3, let's call out some runners-up that definitely deserve some time in the spotlight. If you want to learn some more amazing Belgian bands from the 80s, check out Ritual or thrash band Target. Also, Warhead is amongst them, as is Westfalen. But then there's also the Belgian Motorhead Shell Shock, and let's not forget about Typhoon or Bad Lizard. Alright, let's go to our top 3. It is time for the original Belgian metal band. It's time for Killer.
It's very nice to hear, of course, and maybe it's a bit logical because we were the first the first Belgian metal band in the early 80s. We were the pioneers of the Belgian metal, and many followed us later by making their own bands. And yeah, it's very nice to hear that there are still a lot of people interested in good old-fashioned Belgian metal. And I know there are a lot of younger people as well. They know us from their father or from their mother, and so we have a lot of young fans as well, and that's encouraging us.
I first saw you play at Graspop in 2002 when you played your first song in pajamas, I believe, because you were mentioning that it was very early in the morning. That must have been a fun memory for you. But if I were to ask you, throughout your career, you've had you had such a career. Is there, and this might be very difficult, but is there one moment, one memory for you that really stands out that you really, really treasure?
One memory that's difficult. I have a lot of good memories, even some bad, of course. But when our first album was released, that gave a kick, of course. You have a new band. We were only existing 4 months. And after 4 months, we immediately have a record on a major label, Warner Bros. That gave a kick, of course. And then a few years ago, after 35 years of Killer, for the first time, we were invited to play a festival in the USA, in Chicago. And that was a very good moment as well.
You guys didn't stop in the 80s. I mean, there were some times that the band was inactive, but there have been newer albums as well in the last decades. What are you working on now? What should fans of your music, look out for?
We re-recorded, let's say, 10 or 12 of our most important songs, older songs, and this will be the next album. It will be called The Best of Killer. Then I'm preparing a lot of demo recordings for a next studio album, a normal, completely new album. I have already too many songs. Anyhow, there will come 2 more albums of Killer, The Best of, and then a completely new one.
Go back to the roots. Back to the roots. We go back to the roots. We go back again.
All right, we have 2 bands left. I can tell you that the votes were very close, but at the number 2 spot, we have the thrash legends of Belgium, Cyclone.
You're in the grip. Wow. You're in the grip. Wow. You're in the grip. Wow.
We just started out this band again now just because we wanted to play, and we didn't know what to expect, Of course, during all those years, there was always, people will always show up to you and talk about the band and ask you questions, but we were kind of surprised that it was still, it was still alive in that way. Yeah, it was quite surprisingly, especially also with the tryouts we did. The 4 small shows we did sold out in a second, and we just said like, wow, it still lives. It's cool to see. Of course, we're happy with it. It was the golden era, We were amongst the first league of thrash metal bands releasing an album, especially in Europe, especially in Belgium. We were the very first thrash band. Shows when you open up for bands like Metallica or Slayer. Yeah. Those are things that you will never forget. Of course, we played with a lot of bands. We played with, you just name it in thrash. Like Overkill, Dark Angel, Destruction, Creator, Solemn, Agent Steel. We played them all. But playing with Metallica or opening up for Slayer on the Rain in Blood tour, that was, of course, something special that you never forget, of course.
Thrash is maybe almost as popular today as it was in the 80s. There was a big revival of thrash in the early 2000s with all those old bands coming back. And that brings us to today, where Cyclone is back together. Been working on a comeback. You've already mentioned some shows. There is more planned with Cyclone. What can you share with everybody watching this video? What should we keep our eyes open for?
So now we're going to start playing some bigger shows. We do the festivals first, like Alcatraz. We have the Metal Experience Festival in Holland in September. We have the Blast from the Past Festival in Belgium at the end of December. Then we have the Keep It True Festival in Germany, and then there's offers for for shows like in the most incredible places. But it's we're still working on that to get that all done and settled, because it's if you get an offer to play South America, it's not that they say like, okay guys, we would come. There's a lot of things to do. And then we also have like we have some old stuff that is that we didn't record back in the day, like stuff from in between the two albums, like there's like 4 or 5 songs that we would like to record and release. After that, if it's possible, we would like to record some new stuff, because we're actually working on new songs, and we have like the basis for like 6-7 new songs already. So
oh wow,
yeah, it worked out well, because we were like, can we still pull it off, after all those years? But it's funny to see how quickly you get installed again into all kind of stuff, and it was like it was never away. It's crazy, It's like the ideas came, and we were like just bringing on stuff, and that's cool, that riff, and wow, it's like we never stopped.
All right, we are at the number 1 spot, the band that you all voted as the best Belgian band of the 80s. Probably not a surprise to many people. At the number 1 spot, we've got Ostrogoth.
It was extremely close, but after all the votes, Ostrogoth was number 1.
Are you kidding?
I am not kidding. Yeah, you guys beat Cyclone with this much.
Yeah, no, because I followed sometimes every week the follow-ups. Then I saw we were close already, but in second place. And in the end, and justice for all.
Okay,
no, I love very much the guys from Cyclone also, but I mean, in history, we were first, and we were the youngest band in the 80s, and then Cyclone came up like a atom bomb, more in the trashy scene of Belgium in the half of the 80s. So we're happy, the both of us, I think. There are a lot of good memories, but the thing I think for all of us was the Heavy Sound Festival in '83. The years before also, because the upsetting from the thing, the new lineups, looking for songs, rehearsing like beasts, 5 days a week, looking for songs, composing. But '83, the Heavy Sound Festival was a confirmation for us. And then the same day, our first EP came out, and we still remember that Alfie, the boss from Mausoleum, came around with the first 100 samples, I think.
We saw recently announcements that there is a very special box set coming our way.
I have a bunch of tapes, old cassettes, and we start to digitalize the things and looking for biographies, pictures. There's even a thing with Stonehenge, the first band, before Ostrogoth, but where 4 members of Ostrogoth were already in it.
Yeah.
So there's a little tip for the thing, and we are planning to do some songs from that box. We have plans also to do, instead of new work, but also New York, but besides that, maybe to come out with few reworked songs from the box.
Okay.
You know already a lot, man. That's because of my...
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.